Good evening, glad that you are watching your channel of choice on the news tonight. Tonight, local farmers up in arms as government ships in tons of maize from overseas.
Mbona serikali situkue mahindi yetu iweze kununua kwa ile bei nafuu kuliko kuenda kule nje mnaleta mahindi ya bei ghali ambayo mnaita GMO.
The shipment arrives in the country even before an official gazette notice to legally allow imports is released. Kiambu County Assembly Lands and Physical Planning Committee asks Governor Kimani Wamatangi to compensate the families who have been affected by houses that have collapsed in the county.
All the constructions going on in Kiambu County, you halt all of them with immediate effect until at such a given time that we'll be able to identify the buildings that can be able to hold and those ones that cannot be able to hold.
Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza's relationship with members of Meru County Assembly worsens as a motion to impeach her is formally tabled.
The first charge against the governor is nepotism, illegal appointments, unlawful dismissals, and usurpation of the constitutional and statutory functions of county organs.
Catherine Simaloi is our sign language interpreter. Good evening, I'm Abubakar Abdullahi. Welcome to the broadcast. Tonight, members of parliament from maize-producing regions are demanding for an immediate cessation of importation of 10 million bags of duty-free maize into the country, given that no official gazette notice has formally and legally been issued. The lawmakers sought to understand the reason as to why a ship is already docking in Mombasa port without the laid down legal procedures in place. Mike Agongo begins our broadcast tonight.
The GMO debate has since taken a new twist after Trade, Industry and Cooperative CS Moses Kuria outlined his plan to import 10 million bags of duty-free maize into the country. Members of parliament from maize-producing regions are now worried that it has never happened before that maize is imported into the country during the harvest season, oblivious of maize production being always the country's first priority.
We also demand the government to open National Cereals and Produce Board and strategic grain reserves and mop up the entire maize harvest of this year before allowing importation of any amount of maize.
Kuria announced that the government will soon allow a 6-month duty-free importation of 10 million bags of GMO and non-GMO maize for food security. Kuria had on Monday said a legal notice for the importation of genetically modified maize by millers was due this week. The projection of the bumper harvest of maize this season is projected to be 42 million bags, despite the high cost of farm inputs.
And what the millers are doing is to misadvise the minister that we have no maize in this country so that they can bring in duty-free maize from countries that we are not sure whether it is good maize, whether it is GMO.
Wait first, can we pause and allow the farmers to harvest the maize, to sell the maize, to open the National Cereals and Produce Board so that the farmers can take the maize there?
MPs now say there is a deliberate move to continue killing maize farming in the country, as was seen in the previous regime where even the sugar sector and other farming sectors were killed. However, with necessary consultations, the legislators say that they are ready to provide necessary support on the issue of GMO debate in the country.
Kwanza serikali ichukue yale mahindi yote, inunue yale mahindi yote, iweke katika strategic grain reserve, ndio kama haitoshi ndio watafute kununua mahindi nyingine.
The moment we import duty-free maize to the country, already we are exerting a volatility in the price of maize. And the government has not provided a mechanism or a recourse as to how we are going to cushion the farmer. This government came into force by promising that we are going to subsidize inputs and not output.
Pokot South MP David Kosing said that they will collect signatures from Wednesday seeking to impeach Kuria if he doesn't change. However, before the state could give legal authority for the importation of maize, a ship carrying tons of maize docked at the Mombasa port.
The path that the minister has taken is very dangerous. Even what they've done right now, we understand the boats are docking. That is illegal. And anyone who will clear that maize to get into the market, we as Parliament will take action. And it's good now that we are in a position to call anyone for him to answer.
And the fact that the ship has already docked is even a very serious issue because the Gazette has not even gone out, which means this thing was planned way before they discussed and told us about this issue. If he continues this, we will impeach him. We will collect signatures from tomorrow. If he doesn't change, he will be the first cabinet minister under this administration to go home.
Grain farmers now want the government to mop up maize from them and only import in March next year once their products have been sold.
Sahi ukiangalia wakazi wa Trans Nzoia na Uasin Gishu at large, ukiangalia ndo wanavuna na hii mahindi yao iko tayari. Mbona serikali isichukue hii mahindi yetu iweze kununua kwa ile bei nafuu kuliko kuenda kule nje mnaleta mahindi ya bei ghali ambayo mnaita GMO. Mnajaribu kukandamiza hawa ambao wakulima wa mahindi.
Isiolo County leaders have questioned the move by the government to speed up the importation of GMO maize from foreign countries instead of accessing the product from local sources to promote trade and safety of products consumption in the country.
Matamshi ya CS wetu wa trade inaonyesha ya kwamba is not a sensitive leader, is not a responsible leader. Huwezi ambia watu mtazidi kukufa, hata mbeleni mmekuwa mkikufa, sasa kufeni zaidi.
Members of Parliament now want the Trade Ministry to seize the issuance of Gazette notice to allow the importation of 10 million duty-free bags or any other amount of maize into the country. Mike, GOtv 47, Nairobi.
Still on matters maize, and as Kenyans continue to scratch their heads trying to figure out what type of maize is in a ship docked at the Mombasa port, officials from the Kenya Ports Authority have cleared the air. According to regulations guide, a report should be issued either by the Kenya Bureau of Standards, who must assess food entering the country, or the national government itself.
As the GMO debate continues to raise mixed reactions among Kenyans, the Kenya Port Authority is yet to confirm whether or not they have received GMO maize as planned by the government. GMO foods are expected to curb food shortage in the country, this as Kenyans survive the worst drought in 40 years. According to the Kenya Port Authority regulations, import foods entering the country by ship must be assessed by the Kenya Bureau of Standards through testing and metrology. From that, they issue a report on whether the food is genetically modified and whether it meets the standards suitable for human consumption. Reports indicate that the ship that docked yesterday at the Mombasa port did not ship in GMOs as it was assumed, but rather 200,028 bags of maize imported under the World Food Programme. The question of when the GMO maize will arrive in the country will be announced by the Ministry of Trade, Investment and Industry, headed by its Cabinet Secretary Moses Kuria. Paul, GOtv 47, Mombasa.
County Assembly Lands and Physical Planning Committee has directed Governor Kimani Wamatangi to halt the construction of all buildings for re-inspection after the committee unearthed irregularities. Paul Kirobi tells us more.
The Ruiru building that collapsed on Monday brings to fore the number of buildings that have so far collapsed within Nairobi and Kiambu in recent times. A day after the collapse of the Ruiru building, Kiambu County Assembly Lands and Physical Planning Committee, led by the chairperson Ruth Waithera, visited the scene and called upon Kiambu County Governor Kimani Wamatangi to halt construction of all buildings for inspection after the committee unearthed that many developers bypass approvals act by constructing more stores against the law.
The way forward is, first of all the buildings which are not approved to stop. Then the next thing is we have a muster which are going to work and to review which are those documents, which are those buildings that they are going to go on construction.
All the constructions going on in Kiambu County, you halt all of them with immediate effect until at such a given time that we'll be able to identify the buildings that can be able to hold and those ones that cannot be able to hold. Those ones that cannot be able to hold, we are requesting you to bring them down so that we can be able to protect the lives of our innocent Kenyans.
The committee, while visiting the scene, revealed that the engineer had presented a report to the executive before the construction of the building. This indicates that there are some rogue officers within the county who've been dealing with engineers, with the committee proposing punishing the rogue officers and developers by bringing down all buildings that have been built without approvals.
Procedure, they don't even pay for licenses, the approvals. So even the engineer, you heard that the engineer was saying that he wrote a report. The report that went to the executive and nothing was done. So you wonder what is happening. So we need to come together and make one table and make these approvals together.
There is a force that is influencing the decision makings of the county assembly. There's a force that is also influencing the way in which the developers tend to ignore the laws and the regulations that are supposed to be followed by a county assembly.
They have called on the Kiambu County Governor to compensate the families who've been affected by houses that have collapsed and cater for send-off expenses for those who perished and hospital bills for those hospitalized. This comes after the owner of a 5-story building that collapsed in Ruaka Town in Kiambu County on November 17, and 4 officials from the planning department were arraigned at the Kiambu Law Court to face murder charges. The owner of the 5-story building that collapsed in Ruaka, Jennifer Kamau, was apprehended by detectives on Monday while attempting to flee the country at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, JKIA. Paul Kirobi, TV47.
Thank you, Paul Kirobi, for that. Now, an ouster motion against Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza was on Tuesday tabled on the floor of the Meru County Assembly. The Assembly, through the Office of the Clerk, is set to serve the Governor with a copy of the motion and invite the Governor to appear and be heard by the County Assembly. Moiga William has the report.
A motion tabled by the Gushi West MCA Dennis Kyogora, who doubles up as the minority whip, has had the ball rolling in the bid to impeach Governor Kawira Mwangaza. A move that has gotten massive support from his colleagues, as 68 out of the total 69 MCAs appended their signatures. In the motion that seeks to send Mwangaza home, she has been accused of a number of allegations including nepotism, illegal appointments, unlawful dismissal, and usurpation of the constitutional and statutory functions of the county organs, contempt of court, incitement, bullying, vilification, and misleading campaigns against other leaders.
Evidence of the governor's gross violation of Articles 10, 73, and 75 of the Constitution, and gross violation of Section 19 of the Public Officer Ethics Act, gross violation of Sections 29 and 34 of the Leadership and Integrity Act, and gross misconduct is set in the video saved as Annex 13, the flash drive presented with this motion.
In the long list of grounds for removal of Meru's that governor, others include forceful entry into the assembly precincts and mobilization of unlawful riots against members of the assembly, violation of public finance management law, and misconduct relating to the nomination of county executive committee members.
We have the appointment of the husband to county offices, roadside appointment of county workers at Mau, roadside appointment of county workers at Nkubu, roadside appointment of county workers at Kianjai, contempt of court, and illegal dismissals.
The Meru County Assembly will also be receiving views from the public, allowing the Meru residents to contribute and air their views on the matter. The motion is in the early stages in the removal of a governor from office. The governor is then given time to defend themselves before the ward reps, before they cast a vote on the motion.
Kama sisi wanawake wa Meru umetuaibisha ya kutosha. Sisi tukienda Nairobi, tukienda Mombasa, tunaambiwa huyu anakaa kama Kawira Mwangaza yule wa Baichu. Sisi si wa Kenya, tunataka mjue saa hii. Sisi ni wa Meru, tuko na heshima. Sisi si vichwa ngumu. Tuko na heshima zetu, tunaheshimu watu wengine, si kama Kawira Mwangaza venye anafanya.
If a motion is supported by at least 2/3 of all members of the County Assembly, the County Assembly Speaker communicates to the Senate Speaker, and within 10 days of receiving the Assembly's communication, the Senate Speaker convenes a sitting to debate the issue and allow the governor to defend themselves once more. If the motion goes through, the impeached governor has 14 days to appeal the decision at the High Court for review. Meru County Assembly is expected to debate and vote on the motion on Wednesday after considering a reply from Governor Mwangaza as well as people's views on the motion. Moige William, TV 47.
Now, Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition lawmakers led by National Assembly Minority Leader Opiyo Wandayi are accusing IEBC Chair Wafula Chebukati and CEO Hussein Marjan of misusing public resources. And as Stanley Nyaringita now reports, this comes as Chebukati, together with Commissioners Abdi Gulie and Boya Mulu, are set to vacate office in January.
As IEBC Chair Wafula Chebukati prepares to vacate his hot seat for the next occupant by January 2023, Azimio One Kenya allied MPs are making his exit hectic. Chebukati, together with the Commission's CEO Hussein Marjan and Commissioners Abdi Gulie and Boya Mulu, have been put on the spot over allegedly misusing taxpayers' money on foreign trips for over 3 weeks to South Africa, USA, Malaysia, Dubai, and Angola.
The three commissioners and the CEO must know. A criminal act never elapses in law. It doesn't matter how long it will be. But the long hand of justice will soon catch up with these people.
We'll recall that we have time and again called upon Chebukati, Boya Molu and Abdi Gulie to proceed on terminal leave, pending their final retirement. Our pleas have fallen on deaf ears.
Other sticky issues that Azimio MPs want the electoral body to answer is on the awarding of a tender to a Greek firm, Lycos, for the printing of ballot papers for by-elections scheduled for December 8th and January 5th. According to Wandayi, this goes against the IEBC Procurement Act on by-elections, which seeks to have the ballots printed locally.
There is some very tight relationship between the current IEBC, or at least the ruling elite within the IEBC, and the Greek company.
The MPs also want the outgoing commissioners to begin a process of handing over their office in line with the IEBC Act. All decisions which are made without the participation of the plenary be rescinded and an independent audit be undertaken to establish expenditures incurred after the August elections. The legislators also want Marjan to produce the contract between IEBC and Inform Lycos, which includes the duration of the contract and a special committee to be formed to probe the conduct of Chebukati, Marjan, Gulie and Molu to determine the extent of alleged misuse of public resources. At the same time, the Azimio coalition lawmakers have also faulted the move by Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah to sponsor a bill that seeks to change the selection panel for the appointment of the electoral commissioners.
So we think someone is trying to take charge of IEBC the next election, whereby he wants to have 100% control. 100% control in the selection and appointment. Because we have not seen a problem in the current method of selection of IEBC commissioners. So in trying to change it, it's to give advantage to one part of the coalition.
This comes as the 4 dissenting commissioners led by Vice Chair Juliana Cherera await their fate on Thursday as members of the National Assembly listen to the petitions filed against them, seeking to remove them from office. If the House deems the petitioners have merit, the President will appoint a tribunal to investigate conduct of the 4 commissioners. Stanley Nyaringita, TV 47, Nairobi.
Now, following an increase in mugging and armed robberies in the city, police officers from different formations of the National Police Service have been keeping vigil in a bid to normalize the situation. Our very own Collins Lusweti took a stroll around the central business district and has filed the following report.
After complaints of rising insecurity in the Central Business District, General Service Unit officers and Rapid Deployment Unit, drawn from Administration Police, were deployed to tackle crime in a number of areas in the city. A cross-check in the city revealed increased police patrol in the city center, with city dwellers noting that the situation has improved.
Tukitembea hapa tunapata security iko mzuri kabisa. Ile story ati yo vijana walikuwa na kupata choche ama kidogo simu shatolewa mbio. Sasa mna security imepewa Kanairo, iko rada safi sana. Hata hizi area sasa hivi watu wanatembea wakiwa comfortable.
We've been able to speak to officer in charge of police division Central Police Station, Mr. Raphael Kimilu, who has indicated that they have recorded fewer numbers of criminal cases, mugging and stabbing in the city center. However, he says that criminals could be heading to other regions outside the city center, but promising that security operations will spread across all parts of the city.
Boda riders who have been put at the center of criminal activities in the city have also promised to work hand in hand with security officials to tackle the wave of criminal cases within the CBD.
Sisi tumejipanga si kama wana boda kuweka mikakati, kuunda circles, kuunda ma reflectors, kuregister watu ambapo tutakuwa na stages. Mtu kama sio stage fulani afai asongele hiyo stage. Na akisonga hapo lazima aseme anataka nini, lazima aongee maybe na mkubwa wa hiyo area, waongee aseme anataka nini.
Nairobi residents are now calling on police to remain vigilant and enhance a continuous security operation, saying they only swung into action after complaints of increased insecurity cases.
The more security iko tight, everything inakuwa simple. So ndio vijana wanakaa idle, watafute kitu ya kufanya.
Security experts are however warning that deployment of GSU and RDE officers may not be a long-term solution to tackling criminal activities in the city. They want a public intelligence approach with a strong partnership between police and members of the public in identifying criminals.
Few city residents whom we've been able to speak to say they feel a little bit safe. They can be able to walk around with their phones. They can be able to make communication with their phones as they walk around. They attribute this to increased security operations in the city area. However, they want the security operations to continue to ensure that their safety is guaranteed. Collins Lusweti, TV47, Nairobi.
Thank you, Collins, for that. Now, President William Ruto earlier today arrived in South Korea for bilateral talks with his counterpart, President Yoon Suk Yeol. Kenya is keen on expanding economic ties with the East Asian nation and exploring areas of cooperation, especially in ICT, education, pharmaceutical, and infrastructure.
Early Tuesday morning, President William Ruto arrived in Seoul, South Korea for bilateral talks with South Korean President Yoon Suk Yeol, and as part of an initiative to encourage foreign investors to invest in Kenya. Kenya has been keen on expanding economic ties with the East Asian nation and exploring areas of cooperation, especially in ICT, education, pharmaceutical, and infrastructure, a plan that Kenya Kwanza government has been advocating for since it took power. The youth are also said to benefit from the tour, with President William Ruto saying that he intends to create job opportunities for the youth in both countries.
Okay. Hello.
Ruto will be in South Korea for 3 days and will hold several consultative meetings. Lucky Eriano reporting for TV47.
Elsewhere, Education Cabinet Secretary Ezekiel Machogu says the government has set aside 1.9 billion shillings for the school feeding program in ASAL areas. Machogu, who appeared before the Senate Education Committee, has refuted claims that the project had been stopped.
Children are among the worst affected by the ongoing drought in the country. The situation has forced many to stop going to school, as their health has been compromised as a result of hunger. The dire situation reported from counties in arid and semi-arid regions is what informed Tuesday's meeting between the Senate Education Committee and the Education Cabinet Secretary. The committee sought answers as to how the school feeding program was being implemented and if it had been stopped in some areas in the country. Claims that were refuted by the Education CS, who said the government has always been committed to feeding its children.
This particular program is budgeted for each and every year, and the government, knowing the importance of this, has been able to give budgetary allocation every year, and this particular year, financial year, we have 1.9 billion, which we are using to supply food to the ASIR areas.
Machogu says currently the school feeding program is covering children from 26 counties, but the senators were adamant, saying the food was not getting to the children.
This particular program is continuously going on, and indeed, even last month, Honorable Chairman had the opportunity of dispatching food to the 10 ASIR counties.
The idea of children having food in school is not a fallacy. It may not be in your specific region, but the other way of going about it is that we have a list that we have given you here of sub-counties. I'm sure this of sub-counties, and in your regions, you can just take a phone call and check with your head teacher in the areas that have been indicated here, and then confirm whether what we are saying is true or not.
The government says it has plans of increasing the number of learners currently under the school feeding program in the country. Sharon Baranga, TV47.
Now, after 2 weeks of investigations, police in Migori have finally nabbed a preacher alleged to have molested and killed a minor in Rangwe, Homa Bay County. And as Sylvia Nyongesa now reports, the suspect had taken refuge in a church in the neighboring Migori County, where he was arrested early Tuesday morning.
Police from Migori Police Station received a tip-off from one member of the Legio Maria Church about the whereabouts of Raphael Okinyi, who was on the run after allegations of defiling and killing a minor in Homa Bay County surfaced. And on reaching the Legio Maria Church in Kwoyo, Mapera village in Suna East constituency, they arrested the suspect.
Walidirect na askari wameenda wamemkamata huko kanisa ya Kwoyo. Kijana ambaye anaitwa Raphael Okinyi wa miaka 18. Nasikia anaitwa kasisi ya Legio Maria. Mtoto wa 10 years alikuwa defiled na baadaye akawawa. Na wanasema huyu kijana ndiye alifanya hiyo kitendo na akatoroka huko Rangwe akakuja akaingia hapa area ya Migori.
Okinyi was then transferred to Rangwe Police Station and will be arraigned at the Homa Bay Law Courts to be charged for defilement and murder.
Na anarudishwa huko Rangwe aweze kushtakiwa na hiyo mashtaka ya mauaji.
The 18-year-old, who is a known Legio Maria leader, is said to have defiled and later strangled a 10-year-old in a maize plantation in Kamombo village, Rangwe sub-county of Homa Bay County on November 3rd and went missing.
Alikuwa amejificha kwa sababu baada ya kutenda hiyo kitendo huko alitoroka.
A passerby discovered the badly injured girl and took her to Homa Bay County Referral Hospital, where she died while receiving treatment. Sylvia Nyongesa, TV47.
Quite a sad story there. You're watching TV47. Time for us to take a short break. Stay with us. We still have a lot lined up for you.
You are watching TV47, the home of untold stories.
Sonadol Extra imetengenezwa kwa njia spesheli kupambana haraka na maumivu ya kichwa, mwili na hata meno. Sonadol Extra, hakika maumivu yakizidi, pata ushauri wa daktari.
Brand new entertainment on the go this November.
How well do you know what's happening around you? Morning Cafe with heated political debates. Baraza la Siasa.
Hiyo kitu azungumzie, angalie hali ya maisha ya watu.
Informative health discussions. Business, farming. Tasty Wednesday, Fitness Thursday, and Feel Good Friday with amazing DJs, celebs,
waimbaji, kuna comedians, alafu kuna wajinga,
and music bands every Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. How well do you know what's happening around you? Morning Cafe with heated political debates. Baraza la Siasa.
Hiyo kitu azungumzie, angalie hali ya maisha ya watu.
Informative health discussions. Business, farming. Tasty Wednesday, Fitness Thursday, and Feel Good Friday with amazing DJs, celebs,
waimbaji, kuna comedians, alafu kuna wajinga.
and music bands every Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. How well do you know what's happening around you? Morning Cafe with
Welcome back to the county's television. Let's get to Nakuru. And Nakuru County Government, together with security teams, have committed to working together to ensure security ahead and during the festive season. This was agreed in a joint meeting led by County Governor Susan Kihika, Nakuru Police Commander Peter Mwanzo, together with other leaders from the Security Department and all the 11 sub-counties. Chichi Josephine reports.
Speaking during a meeting in Nakuru to deliberate on issues regarding the general security situation in the county, the county police boss Peter Mwanzo revealed their commitment in ensuring tight security to residents.
We have increased the patrols both day and night, and we've equally done what we call also surveillance through intelligent-led police patrols.
He noted that over time they've worked so hard to break down the gangs that were terrorizing some parts of Nakuru, which has seen the level of crime go down in the recent times.
Now the cases have gone down, totally gone down, but one or two issues isolated here and there, they still keep on coming. Lakini kwa sasa hizo syndicates ni kama zimekwisha kabisa na tunaendelea kuzivunja kabisa.
Mwanzo, however, said there was a challenge with witnesses not coming out to report the crimes due to threats from the criminals, further calling on residents to report any crimes witnessed and assured them of their security.
Kumekuwa na challenges, especially tukija pande za prosecution, kwa sababu wale mashahidi wengine they are not coming out. Hawakuji kutoa ushahidi maana wanaogopa, pengine wanatishwa na wale vijana tena.
On a part, the Nakuru County Governor Susan Kihika commended the good work by the police as she committed to work closely with the team to ensure 24 hours security for a 24-hour economy that she said is part of her agenda during her term.
Really, we have to partner together with my colleagues here in the police force and make sure that the people of Nakuru have security. People are able to go about their daily duties, whether it's in their businesses or be in their homes and feel secure. And also beyond that, for those wanting to come and invest in this county, or visit this county, that they feel it's a place where they can comfortably come, feeling that their security is well taken care of.
Chichi Josephine, TV 47.
Moving on, mediation and peace practitioners from Kenya, Zimbabwe, Somalia and South Sudan have today held a consultative meeting to find peace and solve the insecurity issue in parts of the North Rift in the country. Meanwhile, at least 46 schools and 2,000 needy households from drought-stricken parts of Meru, Isiolo and Samburu counties have received food aid from well-wishers. Here is a roundup of stories from the counties.
Cases of insecurity in parts of North Rift have been on the rise, attracting the attention of mediation and peace practitioners from Kenya, Zimbabwe, Somalia and South Sudan.
We are either still in conflict, or we are also countries that are in transition from conflict to peace. But there have been a number of initiatives taken by our various governments.
My hope at the end of this workshop is to see to it that the contents of the book that has been launched, particularly the practical issues that Deka and Simon have documented, will benefit the participants, largely who are drawn from counties that are largely affected by conflict.
On Tuesday, the stakeholders launched a book that will steer the peace movement in the regions, asking residents and Kenyans to utilize the book as a way of restoring peace in the area.
There are 3 key points. One is, when you're working for peace, it's not about right and wrong. It's really trying to understand the other side. Where are they coming from? What is behind what they are saying they want? What is really the concerns they have, the story they have? So to see and try and understand where people are coming from.
Wale watu wataenda sasa kushokosa wengine, serikali wakalie pale, kwa sababu wakiwashilia 1, 2 mpaka 100. Watu wameshachukua sheria mikononi yao, watarudisha namna gani?
Meanwhile, at least 46 schools and 2,000 needy households from drought-stricken parts of Meru, Isiolo and Samburu counties have received food aid courtesy of a partnership between members of the Rotary Club of Isiolo, the Rotary Club of Nairobi, the Village Trust and the Chandaria Foundation.
Mimi nashukuru kwa sababu ya hawa wageni wamekuja kututembelea, wamekuja kutuletea chakula. Kwa hivyo tunawashukuru sana.
In Kisumu County, the Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union KMPDU has asked Kenyans who are yet to take their COVID-19 jabs to move with speed and to do so to avoid any dangers in case of another outbreak of the disease.
As of yesterday, only 10 million Kenyans had been vaccinated against a vaccine availability of around 30 million. So we still have 20 million plus vaccines in the fridges, and some of them have expired and been thrown away.
No more business in Nambale sub-county, Busia County came to a standstill after border operators blocked the roads, demonstrating, asking the area authority to arrest the member of county assembly who is alleged to have attacked one of them, injuring him in an unclear circumstances.
Mimi kama Motoko nina uchungu sana kuona ya kwamba kiongozi ambaye amechaguliwa kuongoza wananchi anakuja kutudhulumu na kupiga watu. Hiyo si uongozi. Kama anataka vita aende kule Kongo, apigane. Kama anataka vita aende kule Ethiopia, Tigray, aende apigane huko.
In Elgeyo Marakwet have asked the government to consider them during the distribution of resources in learning institutions instead of sidelining them during the exercise.
Sisi kama mashule ya kibinafsi, sisi wenyewe tunachenga hii structures. Na kuna bahati ya pesa walikuwa wamesema hiyo capitation. Tunaomba pia capitation ikuwe ya wanafunzi wote. Because hakuna mwanafunzi ya private school na hakuna mwanafunzi ya public school. So tunaomba pesa ikikuja iwe capitation yote across Kenya yote.
Sylvia Nyongesa, TV47.
Elsewhere, farmers in Kisumu County are counting losses after monkeys invaded their crops and destroyed them. Despite KWS setting up traps, the monkeys have continued to terrorize farmers and residents in the area for more than 2 years now.
This is the situation that welcomes one in the remote village of Akingli in Kisumu County. On a daily basis, farmers and residents here chase monkey at least to save their crops.
Shida yenye tuko nayo hapa ya baboons. Ona hizi mahindi yetu hizi sinakula, hata sasa hivi tuko hapa juu hatuna amani.
Nyani inaingia kwa njugu. Mali nilikuwa napanda gorogoro 10. Inamaliza yote.
According to farmers here, the monkey nuisance has been troubling them for more than 2 years without a lasting solution, and the monkeys seem to be avoiding traps set by the KWS.
Tumejaribu mpaka nikaweka hivyo venye walikuwa nataka, nikashika kama nyani 7 na wakachukua wakapeleka huko game reserve. Sasa bado zinazidi, hata zimejua mtego sasa haziwezi ingia kwa mtego juu wamejua wenzao walikuwa wanaingia hapo.
Sasa mama kama mimi kutoka kwa asubuhi kukulala navaa stop na navaa long na kofia. Ndio nyani ikiona wewe inafikiri ni wewe ndio baba. Ukirusha urujire nyani inakimbia.
Farmers say the little harvest they get after massive destruction is also not spared, as the monkey invade homes and eat everything, leaving them starving.
Mali inatoanga gunia 5. Nyani inamaliza yote.
They are now calling upon KWS to put more effort, and control the human-wildlife conflict, as well as compensate those affected.
Watu wa Kingli vijiji wanaumia. Tunaomba utume hata watu wako, hata wewe uone venyisi nyani sinaweza kula. Juu sisi hatuwezi kuwa tunafanyia nyani na tuko na watoto na tuko venye wanaweza kula, venye wanaweza enda shule.
Reporting for TV47 from Kisumu County, I'm Onesmus Baraka.
Now, as the national examinations are set to kickstart off early next week, security officials in West Pokot County now say they have put in place strategies to ensure security in the region, with areas that are the most affected by insecurity and cattle rustling being given priority. While addressing the media after meeting with other county officials, County Police Commander Peter Katam has noted that security has been beefed up in the volatile Pokot Central and Pokot North region, adding that some schools in those areas will be allocated more than 2 police officers to man the examination centers. KCSE exams have already kicked off, with oral in foreign languages, music and sign language practicals, with KCPE expected to start next Monday.
In those challenged areas like Pokot Central, Pokot North, and we have in place enough security to make sure that those exams will go on uninterrupted. Of course, there are schools which will post more than 2 officers per class, just to make sure that security is up to date. So we are ready and prepared, and this is why we are having this meeting today, just to discuss modalities of supervising this exam so that we have it without any incident.
Elsewhere, Morans in Marsabit County have vowed to join hands in rooting out cattle raiding, which has resulted in undying tribal conflict, violence and killing over the years. This comes a few days after 3 herdsmen lost their lives in Segel location in Marsabit Central after conflicts erupted between the Rendile and Gabra community herders. While speaking at Kituruni location during a peace meeting, the Morans from Rendile and Samburu communities asserted their commitment to ending cattle raiding in the area. Marsabit Deputy County Commissioner David Saruni detailed how cattle raiding has become lethal and continued to drive wedging a gap between the 2 neighboring pastoral communities.
Jamii hii imekuwa ikilaumiwa na pia ikinyoshewa kidole kwa sababu ya wakora ambao wanatoka katika eneo zingine, county zingine kwa mfano, na wanapitia katika corridor hii na kwenda kugonga majirani wale ambao ni wa karibu na jamii ya Warendile. Na leo tumesikia kwa sauti moja wazee na vijana na warani wa kabila wa jamii hii wakisema kwamba sisi kuanzia leo tutachunga eneo letu, tutachunga area yetu.
Hii ni kupata ushirikiano wa hii jamii, pia waweze kuzuia wale wengine ambao wanatoka sehemu za nje kuja kutumika hapa kuiba mifugo pande hii na kuachia pia wao matatizo hapa kati ya wale ambao jamii ambao zinazoishi hapa karibu.
Tumekubali kuchukua mambo ya salama leo kwa moyo mmoja. Isiwe tunadanganyana. Leo tunasema tuache kuiba, jioni tunasikia maneno mengine. Tafadhali naomba jamii yangu tuache hii maneno hii. Hii ni kitu imepitwa na wakati.
Tunapomaliza Kambinye tumekuja hapa saa hii. Na watu ya hapa wametufurahisha sana. Wamesema sisi hatuendi kupiga vita. Wamekubali watakaa na salama, wamekubali hawataenda kupigana na mtu yeyote. Na wakasema shida yao ni maji, shida yao ni chakula.
Elsewhere, Trans Nzoia Governor George Natembeya has hit out at the national government over the importation of genetically modified GMO crops, maize, to Kenyans instead of empowering farmers to ensure other parts of the country get enough food. Trans Nzoia County is among the counties that are famously known for maize farming, and the region has been affected by the recent government directive, according to the governor.
Maoni yangu ni kwamba
tunahitaji utafiti zaidi kuhusu mambo ya GMO. Sisi kama taifa la Kenya tuko na chakula cha kutosha. Kwa mfano Trans Nzoia tuko na chakula kingi sana. Alafu napata sehemu zingine hawana vyakula. Jambo la dharura ni kuhakikisha kwamba sisi kama wale ambao tunalima mahindi kwa mfano na tumevuna mahindi mengi, haya mahindi yatafikiaje wale wenzetu ambao kule Samburu, Turukana, sehemu zingine za Kitui labda ambao hawana chakula. Kukimbilia GMO kwa sababu hatuna chakula, hiyo maneno sikubaliana nayo kabisa. Chakula kinapotea, kinaoza hapa kwetu kwa sababu kina soko.
Sasa ukiangalia wakazi wa Trans Nzoia na Uasin Gishu at large, ukiangalia ndo wanavuna na hii mahindi yao iko tayari. Mbona serikali isichukue hii mahindi yetu iweze kununua kwa ile bei nafuu kuliko kuenda kule nje mnaleta mahindi ya bei ghali ambayo mnaita GMO. Mnajaribu kukandamiza hawa ambao wakulima wa mahindi, na pia mnajaribu kuonyesha kuwa hii mahindi yao haina maana.
Trans Nzoia, Uasin Gishu na Bungoma tuko na uwezo wa kulisha taifa la Kenya bila hata kuwa na haja ya kuimport mahindi. Ikiwa mkulima ataangaliwa, apewe motisha, akuwe motivated, na motivation tu ni mambo ya subsidy ambayo ya mbolea na kuwa na bei nzuri kwa mahindi ambayo yamevunwa.
Family Bank Group has recorded 3.5 billion shillings profit before tax for the first 9 months of 2022, up from 2.6 billion shillings recorded in a similar period in 2021, marking a 33.2% growth in earnings. The growth was primarily driven by strong partnerships and an increase in non-interest income. The group's loan book expanded by 22.7% to 79.8 billion shillings.